Right then, GTA San Andreas and the Pinash Companion app initialization or ini file now has the 21 achievements integrated so that when you press the achievements button in the app, it will update this list as to whether or not they are complete or incomplete. The achievements itself in PCSX2 1.6.0 achievements, you need to keep everything as is. Obviously, that'll be in the README anyway, but the directories need to be the same. And if you really do not want to store stuff on your C drive, then if you've got Windows, you can use symlinks to work around it. Achievements are just images. That's literally it. If you've unlocked it, it'll display the image, and if you haven't, then it will disable it. I mean, you could set the files to hidden and unhidden and do other stuff as well, but that's completely pointless. So that's integrated. Now, on top of that, at the moment, this is a two-part file where this top part here, just the achievements lines for GTA San Andreas. The rest of it, imagine this as a separate file now. This is for any PS2 game. I would explain how you could also use it for San Andreas, but there's one additional step. So let's just say you're focusing on any PS2 game. You've now got the ability with this template to create 100 cheats. You can open up your pinash file for whatever game that you're making your cheats from. And as long as they're relatively simple and not like comparative multi-line things and functions that are just doing crazy shit, like, if the value of the address is FF, then that means the player's pressing F1, so increment the counter by 1, and then if the value of the counter is less than fucking 2, then increment the vehicle ID by 6, blah, blah, blah. As long as it's something more simple, like what we're familiar with GTA San Andreas cheats, is the button input codes that toggle a 0 to a 1. Simply write a byte and a single byte. Or any of these single line ones that just write bytes and aren't necessarily reliant upon keywords which I haven't implemented, then this ini file is all you need, and the exe file that comes with it. You don't need Cheat Engine or anything. So, for example, in this version, let's say I'm using San Andreas. If I want to make Cheat1 to write a byte at this address, and the byte is 3 and the original value is 0, then when I run the app and toggle my button, that is exactly what it will do. And the list of available functions that I've added are here. They're just simple ones from the Cheat Engine newer documentation, but it's not all of them. Keyword's not in there, and as I said, it's nothing complicated. But it does support endianness, so big and little. So, for example, here, this function will write a byte. That function writes bytes because it's got an S on it. And I'm not quite sure why I left that value there, but whatever, I'll change that. This is float on its own, which, as you can see, defaults to little endian of 33 point blah blah blah, and that's the original value. This is a big float with a big endian. This is a little endian, which is exactly the same as the default. And you can do the same for the integers with big and little endianness, and 16 and 32, and it should shorthand default just defaults basically, and then so on and so forth. There's 100 cheats there, just they just copy and paste it, just examples. So let's boot the fucking thing up and go through the changes that we've made. So we've seen the ini file. I'll do the final file first. Would help if we booted up PCSX2. So in order to do that, I'll actually just boot the front end. Oops, and you'll have an exe. This is optional. It's just a way to find and check and load files, like 4 lines of code that, all snippets form the basis of your final thing. So there you go. There's a fast boot there. Launcher, pretty useful. Use it for any game or whatever. And this is the update to the cheat menu app that people may or may not have seen. So rather than using the launcher just to fast boot, I'm going to make sure that everything's there, because my fast boot launcher there was using no speed hacks and everything else. But anyway, attach that to the process just to be safe. And it should do it automatically, but whatever. Okay, so we're going to enable the script. You've probably seen some of the other videos. The only difference is this achievements thing. You might have seen the brief achievements video, but now what's going to happen is when we press that button, it's going to update the information here. So let's just make sure that it works. I'll actually set that to incomplete. And by default, when you start the game, you should have one achievement. So we've got getting started. That's true, and that's all it does is show you the achievements from the image folder that we showed earlier, because that one's now unlocked, and they're in a grid like pattern 6x6, so that's good to go. Now we don't need that app anymore. That example is shown, and we open up the finish app, and it now says complete instead of incomplete, which is great, and there doesn't seem to be any interference or errors with the file. All data is written just now, so that's cool. So that's one thing done. Obviously, if you want to strip out the achievements and just put them in a separate file, then you can use that code for any other game, basically, and just modify it for all that. So we've got the achievements, which can be a separate thing. We've got the launcher. We've got the full app that's dedicated to GTA San Andreas. In the master files, there's a whole bunch of basically mini scripts that led up to the end of this. But I'll show the code that operates the 100 cheats from the exact same ini file that I'm using at the moment. Again, remember that ini file is, for me, dual purpose because it's handling GTA San Andreas and then also any other game. So if you just go on that achievements file, San Andreas, you can, and if you want to keep all that separate from another game, you can. But what we're going to do is just execute the cheat. So again, users just have an exe, don't need to do anything else. They won't need cheat engine, and it will populate the entire menu. As you can see, there's 100 cheats there. So 20 by whatever the fuck 5 is it? I think it's 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it was 24, 5. So that's done. And I've already explained how to use the pinash. So for a byte test, that one, a right byte. It doesn't update necessarily in real time, but obviously it's just an exe. So where I'm clicking execute script here, you'll just be double clicking exe, and you can open and close as much as you want. A little bit of lag whilst it populates the menu. I'm not quite sure how to change anything else, but that can be used for any PCSX2 1.6.0 compatible game. Basically, if it's a PS2 game that works with that version and you've got a pinash file for it, you are good to go. No coding required whatsoever. Just simply transfer your data to him. So I'm pretty sure that covers everything. It's less than 10-minute video, which is not bad for me as well, so I'll leave it there.